Good morning, beloveds. I came in to the room and the sunbeam had already sprouted a cat. And then as I was trying to get his attention, he was like, "Oh, you want me to come to you?" And I was like, "No." And then, but he did. And then I just watched his sister came in and then they both went chasing out of here. And I'm not sure who chased whom out. It was pretty funny. All right. It was gym day today, so hence I'm showering and running a little behind. All right. Oh, where am I? There they are. All right. Let's get at this. It is January 7th. Our title is What I Am, and our author is Fannie Brooks James from Divine Science, New Light Upon Old Truths from 1896. Fannie Brooks and Nona Brooks were the founders of Divine Science. And Divine Science is who ordained Ernest Holmes until Ernest Holmes created his own ministry. So, all right. Okay. God worketh through me to will and do all of God's good pleasure. In God I live, move, and have my being. I am life within eternal life. I am substance within the eternal substance. I am strength within the infinite strength. I am mind within the divine mind. I am idea within the divine idea. I am consciousness within divine consciousness. I am truth. I am freedom. I am fullness. I am that I am. My life is complete now. I am eternally perfect. My health is a finished fact. My freedom is a changeless reality. My strength is omnipotence. My understanding is omniscience. I now accept my always perfect health, my changeless freedom, my unlimited strength, my divine understanding, and my spiritual substance from Thee, my source. All souls shall be in God, and shall be God, and nothing but God be. And that is Festus. Festus. All right then. Okay. Sometimes when you read those, you're like, no, what do I say? Well, the first thing that I'm going to say is, so one, that can be used as affirmations. Any one of those can be an affirmation, or you can choose a couple of them, or you can choose all of them. You could use that as a body of a treatment, and then like pick one or two as an affirmation to continue to repeat to yourself as you are moving through your day and week and month and year in life. It's also a good reminder. All of those, which is why I said they would make good affirmations. It's a reminder of who we are. You know, we are mind in the divine mind. We are strength within the divine strength. We are life within the eternal life. So it's like as what Jesse likes to say is that we've individualized a small portion of the divine for ourselves. It's like we are not all of God. We are just a tiny little piece in God. Which means we have access to all of what God can do. All right. That's what Jesus came to teach us. Jesus came to teach us, look, what you are is an individualized center within God. It means that any of the things that God can do, possibly you could too. If you have the willingness, faith, and belief. You know, belief. Do you believe that you can do these things? And that's a huge part of it. That really is a huge part of it. It's like you have access to it. So, the creativity that is in you comes from that infinite source of creativity. The understanding that is in you comes from the infinite source of understanding. So you have the potential to understand anything, but then the question becomes, do you have the willingness and the belief? Are Are you willing? Our author yesterday said, what was it that she said about with heaven comes responsibility? That's the same thing here. With great power comes great responsibility. Pardon me while I quote Uncle Ben from Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. So if you're going to lean into your God-given talents, you have a responsibility to use them wisely. And in the nature of what they are, you can absolutely misuse the power that you've got. And then things come out sideways and you don't get what you expect. So, it's good to know who you are and recognize the power whose power you're using is what I'm trying to say. And that last one is like, now I accept. That's that willingness to put yourself out there and say, yes, I'm willing to do this. I can do this. Let the power flow through me to do this. So, yeah, there was something else. Well, there was something else. I don't remember what the other thing was. Some days you come, like I have a lot to say, but some days they're clearly and concisely written. And, I remember what it is now. Okay. The other thing is all of those are written in the present tense, and they are written in what we like to call hardball metaphysics. So, because you look around in the world and you go, well, I'm not that. Okay. But for the purpose of treatment, when you go into your treatment, when you go in and do your prayer, you are. You want to state it as if it is a fact now in your experience. Because the truth is, it does exist. It just exists. It exists in the what Jesse calls the unseen realm. It exists in the mind of God. So what we have to do is accept that it already exists in the mind of God. So it already exists so that it can manifest in the material realm with us. And so when you go into treatment, you absolutely want to do it like that. You want to say, I am, and then state whatever it is, even if you're not that yet, in the material realm, because you already are in the mind of God, in the unseen realm. What you are waiting for it to do is to manifest in the seen realm. And to do that, you got to believe. You got to ask, you got to be willing, and you got to believe. And then be open to the guidance to get you there. So absolutely, that's why she writes in present tense, and that's why she writes in hardball metaphysics. It's like, Jesus is the one who walked up to the tomb and says, Lazarus, come out. That's hardball metaphysics. How many of us are capable of that? Well, none of us have been willing to try and fail. So that's part of it. I forget. I don't know if the quote's attributed to anybody, but I've seen it, and it's the truth. Is a master has failed more times than an apprentice has ever tried. So anytime you start anything, you're not necessarily going to be immediately good at it. Most of the time, you're not going to be immediately good at it. You have to figure it out, and so I was considered a gifted and talented kid. All that meant was I tested really well, and they thought I was smart. And so they were like, well, she can do anything. Okay, well, then what did I end up doing with my life? Do not get me wrong. I'm very happy with what I do. But it's like, oh, she's good at all of these things. Yeah, you know what I'm not good at? Geography. I'm not good at spelling. But I try. And I use the aids to help me with geography and spelling. But I'm not, it's like every time I try something, I'm not immediately good at it, because like I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fail. And I don't ever consider it a true failure unless you stop. So, it's like, keep trying, keep practicing. Jesse uses the example of being a musician. You got to develop that muscle memory. Or if you play guitar, you got to develop those calluses on your finger. Well, they don't happen overnight. They happen with practice. And so we go into treatment stating, I am this fantastic, amazing, wondrous guitar player who inspires people when they hear me play. Okay? And then, but then we've got to be willing to put in the work to get there. So if that's what we truly want, then it already exists in the mind of God, but we still have to put in the work. But every time we go in treatment, then we say, I am a fantastic, inspiring guitarist. Michael Mandrell would be an example. He heard this guitar player, and I forget, Jesse said who it was, and he heard that, and he was like, I want to do that. And so, and then he went and practiced, and he is that. Do I want to be that kind of guitar player? No. Do I have the talent? Maybe. I've had several music teachers who have despaired that I'm not better than I am. But it's because as much as I love music, I love listening to other people play it more than I enjoy playing it myself. So just because you have the talent doesn't mean, that may not be what you want. That may not be what you want. I'm just thinking about the guitar player because the Smashing Pumpkins are looking for a guitar player right now. I'm just like, can I get good enough to go audition for the Smashing Pumpkins? Probably. Not fast enough to audition for them now. The only problem is I'm not a big enough fan of their lead singer to want to go on tour with them. But if it was something that I wanted, I'd have to put the work in. I would treat to know that I was that I was that good, but I would still have to put the work in. So, and I would then use those affirmations in the present tense to support me while I put the work in. Real world examples. So if anybody wants to audition for the Smashing Pumpkins, they're looking for a guitar player. Just go to their website. I'm sure it's all over there. It's just been all over social media for the last couple of days. So, hardbell metaphysics, right? The good news is you don't have to do it all the time. But you do want to do it when you go into treatment. All right? And then feel free to pick a couple of those affirmations out and say, say it several times to yourself over the day. I am. What was the one that jumped out at me? I am idea within the divine idea. That's the one I liked. I am idea within the divine idea. So if I was going to pick one, that's, it's like, and one of the things that I advocate is writing it on your mirror. Cause you brush your teeth at least twice a day. You're going to see it at least twice a day. How many times do you go to the bathroom? Did you pass that mirror? Then you say it to yourself every time. That's what affirmations are for. And then feel free to put the affirmation in the body of your treatment and then just fill in around it. So that is Fannie Brooks James. Wonderful author, Divine Science. We are very close to Divine Science. We have a lot in common with Divine Science because, like I said, Ernest Holmes was ordained in Divine Science. All right. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? It's that last line. I now accept my always perfect health, my changeless freedom, my unlimited strength. What is it that you need? My divine understanding, my spiritual substance from thee, my source. Whatever it is that you accept, like my changeless freedom. I accept my changeless freedom from my source because my source is the only one that can give me that freedom, that changeless freedom. All right. That is the mission today, should we choose to accept it. The other mission is the same mission I give you every day, which is the spiritual practice of self-care. Do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like for you. For me, it was to get up and go to the gym. Yep. He is constantly working on my mobility and my stretching. And he has done me a world of good in learning how to manage what I'm dealing with right now. It was the best gift I could give myself. He has kept me far more mobile and strong. And it's like some days when I don't feel like it, I don't feel like getting up and moving. I can hear him in the back of my head. Well, if you don't do it now, you won't be able to do it then. So I'm like, oh, right. Okay, let me get up. And so that the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing I can do for myself, get up and go to the gym. And some days, what the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing I can do for myself is to take a nap. I'll do that later today. You know what? The goal is that everything you do be loving, kind, and compassionate, including the hard stuff. When you have to have that conversation with somebody that you don't want to, if you can do it, you can do it in a loving, kind, and compassionate way. So, you know, that's the end goal. That everything you do for yourself and others is loving, kind, and compassionate. But I want you to focus on yourself, because frequently we put ourselves last on the list. So, you know, at least one thing. Eventually, all things will be loving, kind, and compassionate. A couple of the other suggestions: take a deep breath before you speak. It's a whole lot easier to not say it than to have to take it back. Hence the pause. But you'll also, you know, speak to yourself more often than you do anybody else throughout the day. Wouldn't it be nice if everything you said to yourself was loving, kind, and compassionate? Been there, done that. You know, I've heard myself talk, and anytime my self-talk would dip kind of towards that, it's like, oh, I need to check my head. What's going on there? And I need to do some more self-care and loving, kind, and compassionate with myself. The other suggestion: take a walk, take a nap, take a break. Those three things. Take a walk, go get some exercise, go get your blood moving, go get your oxygen moving. You know, walk away from whatever it is you're doing. Take a nap. None of us get enough sleep. I know that. Take a break. Sometimes when you have gotten stuck, what you need to do is go do something else and then come back with a fresh perspective. While you're off doing something else, you let it rest in the back of your head. You might come up with your solution. Okay? Take a walk, take a nap, take a break. And there are plenty of other loving, kind, and compassionate things you can do. I'm just trying to give you a couple of jumping off points that you can start with. I also want to remind you, one of my loving, kind, and compassionate things is to eat dessert first. Okay? Do I literally mean that? Yes. Yes, I do. But I also mean that from the standpoint of, don't save the good stuff. Your life is a special occasion. Frequently, we are saving things for special occasions, and those special occasions may never come. Or we are saving things for special occasions, and by the time we get to the special occasion, the people we wanted to share them with aren't there for whatever reason. Don't save the good stuff. Wear the fancy clothes now. Use the fancy dishware now. Make the occasion special. All right. I'm also going to remind you that joy is a quality of God. Therefore, joy is a quality of you. Therefore, you deserve joy. No matter what is going on in the world, no matter what is going on in your life, you still deserve joy. So please make room for joy. And it can be as simple as when I walked into the room and saw that cat in the sunshine. That was joy for me. You know, it's little things that add up to the big things. So start with the little things. Start with the little things. Absolutely. We start with the little loving, kind, and compassionate things, and we work up to the big loving, kind, and compassionate things. Don't ever feel bad starting small.
Surprise!
Don't ever, start where you are. Start where you are. All right. What was I about to say? Danielle just interrupted me. She has something else to do today. Well, yeah. Okay. There's something about watching cats walk. They have the prettiest walk, and I love it. He just walked in and stopped with his feet in the sunbeam again. All right. The rest of the suggestions, that's what I was after. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you today. Please drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. Your brain works better, your body works better, and your skin looks better when you are well hydrated. Get that early in your day bright light. I did get to see the sunrise this morning, so I did get a little bit of sun on the way back from the gym. And then I'm going to get out into it to when I head to service, because it is Sunday. And so that 5 to 10 minutes between 7 and 9 is really, that's that key time, according to science, where the sun hits the earth at a particular angle that's best for you. And it's only 5 to 10 minutes. It's not a lot to help reset those circadian rhythms. So it's not much. And if you can't get out there between 7 and 10, or it's cloudy, schedule permitting and clouds permitting, artificial light will work too. You just want that 5 to 10 minutes of bright light. And if the light in your house is not bright enough, Google seasonal effect disorder lamps or sun lamps. Okay. It's the darker part of the year. So I'm really leaning into that. If you need the extra support, you can Google circadian rhythms, see what I'm talking about. It's a natural hormone cycle. It starts with a C. All right. And then the final suggestion, which is an Ernest Holmes quote, which is to open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you that you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. Yesterday's reading was absolutely about heaven. It's about a recognition that it's all heaven. It's not a locality. It's a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. It's a state of being. Once you learn to create it for yourself, nobody can take it away from you. And you become one of those people who you become an island of peace. You become an island of calm. It doesn't mean that bad things don't happen. And it doesn't mean that your life is rosy and wonderful all of the time. But it means that when you hit rough patches that you can get through them. And when you can create that heavenly mindset, heaven ceases to be a place you have to get to and can become any place you are. Who wouldn't want that, right? All right. And you can take Emma Curtis Hopkins' advice. Look for the good and praise it, which is a fancy way of saying count your blessings. Okay? Look for the good and praise it. Look for the good in your life. Look for the good in the world. It's there. Trust me, it's there. If you opened your eyes today, that's one of the goods. Your heart is beating today. That is one of the goods. You have food in your refrigerator. That's one of the goods. The sun came up, even if it's hiding behind clouds. That's the good. Rain is the good because it nourishes the earth and the plants. That's what I'm talking about. Look for the good and praise it. All right? Then you'll start to recognize that heaven's all around you and within you. The kingdom of God is within you. Or the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Because it's all around you. You just got to see it. Got to be willing to see it. All right. And that's kind of what Fannie was talking about today. Being willing to see it. Recognizing who and what you are. What I am. A beloved child of God. That's what you are. All right. The suggestions. Social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I encourage you, especially the YouTube channels. They're my baby. That's why I lean into them. Although I do have a lot to do with the Instagram and the YouTube, or the Instagram and the Facebook. So, go and subscribe and like and share all of that stuff. We think we've got a pretty good message and we want to get it out there. So, and we think that we're working with some pretty neat people and we want to get them out there. So do all that. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact. It's one email a week and the hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it'll take you right to the information you want. There's a link in there that will take you right to the Soul Session playlist on the Creative Life Spiritual Center page, which is an amazing list. It's an amazing list. It's all of our guest speakers who have come in and talked about all kinds of things. All right. So where are we then? We are I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. A know who you are day, a recognize what heaven is day, a recognize your changeless freedom day, a practice your divine strength day, a see your divine ideas day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God. You are a divine spark. You are a brilliant light. You are a spirit in motion. You are God in action. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. What Fannie was talking about today, that's what we are. That's what we are. We are all of that and more. because we are made of divine substance. We are absolutely made of divine substance. It's all divine. It's all God. All right. So peel back the layers of everything that you have been told you are and get to know who God knows you to be. Because I can promise you that the person God knows you to be is good and probably pretty cool. All right, beloveds. I'm going to remind you, Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. It is Sunday, though, so we will have an amazing service for you here at 11. So hang out for that. And it'll be up on YouTube later. The only difference between the Facebook and the YouTube is YouTube has very strict rules on music. So I take the music out and I leave the opening meditation, the closing prayer, and definitely Jesse, because, that's why you watch these things, right? So, feel free to check all that out. Come to us on Facebook. Catch us later on YouTube. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.